Hey guys, welcome to the Old Testament survey. We've been making our way through the Old Testament, doing it the way the Hebrews put the canon together. And now we come to the writings, the poetry and wisdom literature. And we start with the Psalms, the longest compilation of individual psalms we find in the Bible, one of the longest books of the Bible. When you look at the Hebrew, there are longer books than Psalms, but not much. When we think about the title, it means Book of Praises. And the Hebrew word is mizmor, which is a song accompanied by a string instrument. In the Greek, it's psalmoi, which refers to hymns. In Latin, it's psalteria, which is to pluck with the finger. Ephesians 5:19 and Colossians 3:16 point to the Psalms to validate musical instruments in worship. So when denominations try to say you shouldn't use musical instruments in worship, we don't find that in the New Testament. Actually, Ephesians and Colossians point us back to the Psalms, and many of the Psalms were accompanied with stringed instruments and other types of instruments, cymbals, and more. The collection of the Psalms occurred over some 800 to 1,000 years, from the time of Moses all the way to the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. And there's 6 time periods of the Psalms. Moses is the author of Psalm 90. So his time period. There's also David, who's associated with the Ark of the Covenant. The next generation, Solomon, is associated with the temple. Hezekiah is the reformed king who set men aside to copy the scriptures in Isaiah. We have Josiah, who's also a reformed king who cleansed the temple, and under him a hymn book developed. And then the time of Ezra and Nehemiah is associated with the new temple around 516 BC. The key word in the Psalms, one of them is blessed or happiness, joy, contentment, peace. The authors of the Psalms want to make sure that the people of God have great contentment and joy. There's 5 categories of the Psalms. There's hymns, community laments. There's royal psalms, which highlight keenly elements. There's individual laments and individual thanksgivings. We could break down the Psalms in a 5-fold division, which is developed to correspond to the 5 books of Moses. Psalms 1 through 41 is book 1. Book 2 is Psalms 42 through 72. Book 3 is Psalm 73 through 89. Book 4 is Psalm 90 through 106. And then the 5th book is Psalms 107 through 150. So each book concludes with a doxology, and then Psalm 150 is a doxology to the whole collection. We could even argue that Psalm 1 is an introduction to the whole section and collection. There are superscriptions in some of the Psalms. They're not necessarily part of the original, but the Hebrew canon includes them as part of verse 1 of each psalm. They indicate 3 things: the writer's name, it indicates the tune, and then may specify the historical setting in some circumstances. We know about the popularity and permanence of the Psalms because they manifest the best examples of excellent literature. There's great poetic language which deals with ideas which aren't particularly literal but figurative and symbolic. They're characterized by meter, which includes rhythm and beat. It's like a musical beat and various meters used in various places, and meter carries over into new language. It's also characterized by parallelism. They reveal a deep dedication to God. They are relevant to present spiritual problems. People experience the same problems today they experienced in the time of the Psalms. People struggle to communicate with God today just like they did in the Psalms, and lifestyles have changed, but needs have not. The Psalms also express confidence in God's ultimate victory. History is seen as His story. And they express and experience a messianic hope, points to the coming of Christ. 37 of the first 41 Psalms are attributed to David. And there's 3 possible meanings when we look at this. 1 is David wrote it. 2 is it was dedicated to David. And 3 it was drawn from David's experiences. Now, David's qualifications for writing many of the Psalms is that he was a great musician. He's a sweet singer of Israel and a great poet. He's also a great leader. He's the first influential king in Israel. He's a devout worshiper of Yahweh. He's associated with the Ark of the Covenant and his desire to build the temple. He's endowed with the Spirit of God, and he's got a widely varied background. He's a shepherd, he's a court attendant, he's a soldier, administrator, king. There's the word Selah that occurs in many of the Psalms. It's unknown meaning, but there's 3 possibilities. It's a musical pause, meaning you're supposed to rest while you sing it. It's congregational amen. or it's a crescendo as it builds. And it's the hymn book of the Second Temple. When the temple was reconstructed in 516 BC, the Psalms were probably collected at this time. Up until then, it had probably been a loose collection. But that's just an overview. Time does not permit for us to go into individual Psalms. This is just an overview of the Old Testament, but I hope that's helpful to you. And I'll speak to you again real soon.